Come here. Get off.
Welcome to this week's episode of The Turn On. Today, we will be reading a number of poems. I was about to say a number of poetries from the anthology called Black Lesbians - We Are the Revolution, which was edited by J.P. Howard and Amber Atiyah for Sinister Wisdom in winter of 2018. So sit back, relax, get your wine, get your weed, get your whatever you need, and enjoy.
Sinister Wisdom's Black Lesbians, We Are the Revolution, edited by J.P. Howard and Amber Atiyah. Questioning by Vanessa Evers. I kissed her, not the other way around like my mother told me it would happen. She said the lesbian was aggressive, didn't care if you liked girls or not. They would attack you when you least expected it. But I kissed her and felt heaven inside. Should I tell my mother I am the aggressive lesbian she warned me about? Nonfiction by Vanessa Evers. You ask me to kneel down between legs and suck what was never given to you, but you don't want it really. Just want me spreading my tongue's liquid over the strapped firmness. I call you daddy, even though neither of us like ours. But daddy, you feel so good in my mouth. I stay down there until you release the back of my head, wanting me to believe something slid down my throat. It's okay though. I never liked it anyway. Black Moon by Akinfe Feto. I study the choreography of your heartbeat, your perfect saunter, what it means to be black, to be lesbian and fearless, to be proud, daring to heal, save, and love ourselves, to free our bodies in the face of patriarchy and a society that sensationalizes violence against us and seeks to marginalize, crucify, and shame us. Our existence is revolutionary. Our lovemaking is an act of resistance. We belong to ourselves and God. Untitled, Up in Harlem by Alina Singleton. I married you while making love to you on a bare mattress, on a concrete floor, one sweaty night, up in Harlem. I pledged my vows until your thighs, the arch of your back, quietly replied, I do. Hissing Fannin and Fuck You by Ariane B. Benford. Fingertips raking trenches across where my wings hide. Hissing Fannin and fuck you in the hollows of a spine curved as tempest. Tying your rings in my locks for safekeeping 'cause my skin weeps for you in 80+ degrees. Now I know you know better. You know better than to call the fluttering in my thigh slight. The shiver and kick of drunken mule reckoning with hands of bridle and brass. That pulse circles and fireside two-step. Conversation gurgling forth a brook from this throat ajar. Like thunder fracturing a 4 a.m. sky, there is nothing slight here. The way we bite and push, shove and suck, and stain the hardwood floor. Your hips above the face bowl bracing, your left foot against the bathroom wall. The way our lips room temperature spread. Nothing slight when that stare carves up my ass for later, like enemies in honor and love, tangenting arguments in a succinct prayer, eyes open, eyes closed, claws out. Whole and Nothing But by Arissa White. My body feels true against your body. I swear the truth. This sentence found an end. Start meets beginning. Chest to chest, I swear. True as the dusk we love. My lifeline's deep in the kink and kitchen of your hair. I got your cornrows. You got me by the breast. Between our teeth, we need no standing translation.
Okay, y'all, so welcome back. Thank you, Kenrya, for your lovely rendition of the poetries. Did I say
poetries.
The poems?
Yes, the poetries.
The poetries. Thank you so much. Okay, so we'll just jump right into each one of them. Just a little bit about the anthology that we read. So it's called Sinister Wisdom. They're like a lesbian literary art journal. And they release, I want to say, like quarterly issues.
Yeah, I do believe so.
Because the one that we read from is Winter 2018. So they release quarterly issues of lesbian poetry and
other things too.
Yeah, there's
like the Pat Parker collection that we read from last season was published by Sinister Wisdom too.
Yes, and also just in this in the journal, they also include stuff like photographs and art and that kind of thing. So it's more than just poetry.
Yeah, it's a pretty robust collection.
A robust collection. Good way to put it, Killa. Okay, so the first poem that you read was Questioning. And I think we've touched on this a little bit this season. They talk about how so Vanessa Evers wrote this article. Gosh, what's wrong with me? Vanessa Evers wrote this poem, and to me, the biggest thing that I took away from this is who are you in a relationship versus who people think you are, you know? And we talked about this a little bit this season so far, but one of the lines that stood out was how she ends it. Should I tell my mother I'm an aggressive lesbian? She warned me about.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting how you play, not that you play roles, but you have roles within your relationship that are intimate to the two of you and not necessarily what's projected on the outside or what people may think or what people may know, you know? Because I think about just me as a person, like a lot of people, I'm a very dominant force. I'm a lot of person. And I'm a dominant person. But I find that I tend to take a more submissive backseat role in relationships. And I enjoy that. Where I fucked up is taking a submissive backseat role to motherfuckers that didn't deserve.
Don't know how to lead.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm fine with that. I'm cool with it for the right person. You know, thank God for discernment now that I'm able to discern.
Praise.
You know, but I think people see me and see my dynamic in relationships and think, oh, this bitch is running all the shots. Where really it's like, I mean, I don't mind running shots, but I also would love to have a nigga be the one riding.
Be the shot caller.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know what? As I say that, it makes me think, you know how you hear women say, shit, I said this. Birds say, I'm a strong woman. I need a strong man to control me. Slow down,
I feel
buckaroo.
like I've definitely heard you say that before.
Huh?
I do believe I've heard you say that before.
Yeah.
Like in your 20s.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily that. It's not that. Because you don't need, like, I'm not like some, like, fucking ape or donkey that needs to be controlled. You know?
That's good.
It's just, we've said this before, I need to trust that you are going to lead us. And I found myself putting my trust in niggas that didn't quite need that didn't deserve that blind trust.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
it does make sense.
You
I've
smell
been
what I'm
there.
dropping?
I do. I really hate that analogy.
I know. It's kind of grody.
I just like see a horse pooping in the road.
I mean, whatever. Because I was just
Yeah.
talking about a donkey.
Yes, that's what did it. The combination of the
The
things.
combination of the two.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I definitely think about that, and then I think about like relationships that I see, and you're like, ooh, he must be running the show. Well,
Hmm.
maybe not. Maybe
Yeah,
not
which
quite.
really like brings us back to this idea that we never really know what's going on in folks' relationships, right? Like we were just talking about
Just said
this.
that.
Yeah, like even well, first of all, people put the version of their relationships in public that they want to, which is
Hmm.
why anytime I see somebody say anything about goals, about some shit they see on social media, I'd be like, "Oh, baby, no."
I saw this meme on. It was somewhere, probably on my For You page or something, and it had a picture of Will
Mm.
and Jada, and they were like cackling, like ha ha ha, and it was like, oh, and y'all said we was goals, and I'm like, exactly,
Yeah,
you know,
you never know how messy somebody's shit is on the inside.
yep, yep, yep,
Yeah,
and I
and
remember I had this person I worked with, and they were a fucking mess at work,
mm,
like just difficult. And me and my other coworkers and I would sit around talking. We'd be like, "Oh, this nigga must not run shit at home because he come here and is just a jerk. And there's no way in the world he do this shit at home and still with somebody."
mm.
Years later, he got divorced, and I talked to his partner, and she was
I
like,
know who
"Oh,
you talking about.
no, there's a reason that we got divorced. Like that shit
He
was."
tried that same shit at
Yeah,
home.
exactly, exactly.
Hmm.
So yeah, it definitely makes me, just kind of it. This was an example of that, and then
Yeah.
just the way that Vanessa talks about her mother explaining, lesbians are aggressive. This is what
Yeah.
lesbians do.
It brings us to those stereotypes, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
It reminds me of, I think said this on the show about how my granny was telling me. She said, talking to me and my sister, and she said, I know why them black men like going with them white women. I said,
Yes.
me and my sister was like, why? She said, because they let them white women's put their mouths on them black man's penis. Ain't no self-respecting black woman gonna put her mouth on a man's penis.
Were y'all already sucking dick at that point?
This was like maybe 5 years ago, 5 to 10 years ago.
So
Me and
you
my
sucked
sister looked at
lots
her
of
and was
dicks
like,
at
oh
that
my
point.
God, Granny, never. Oh, thank goodness I'm with a black man that don't that don't believe in that kind of stuff. Pass me
Oh
your
my,
water.
you nasty.
I know, but yeah, it's another one of those situations where you're like, oh, you just po thing. Now my
Yeah.
granny's an ancestor, and she probably like, whew, Jesus, the things that I missed.
Well, and the things that she sees, because I believe that our ancestors be hanging out, boy. They see more than we think they do.
Okay, so yeah, and I think, did we talk to our intuitive about that? I think I asked her, or I saw her say somewhere, like, do they watch me when I'm like rubbing one out? And she was like, it's kind of like they just close the door. You're like, okay, we don't need to see that. And they like,
Well, that's not. So, um, I remember once I was seeing our intuitive, and this is like right around when I was getting ready to. Well, I had already left my now ex husband, and she was communing with my grandmother,
mm-hmm.
and she was like, "Your grandmother funny as shit," and I was like, "Yeah, she was," and she was like, "She just said you about to have all kinds of nasty sex, and she's so excited for you." I was like, "Thanks, grandma."
Thanks,
Like,
Grandma.
she is very invested in the fact that I was going to have an amazing sex life, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, I love that about our intuitive. She's like, one time she was like, "Do you see this card? It's a big eggplant, all this explosive stuff. He got a big dick and he's juicy." I was like, well,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you. That is very good to know. So, yeah. Okay, well, that's all I got for that one. You got anything to add about that one?
No, I mean, the lovely thing is that we're actually going to have Vanessa on the show next week. And so we get to dive even deeper into that poem with them. So it'll be great.
I know that's why I'm trying not to like do
Mm-hmm. Do
say
too
too
much
much.
there. Yeah.
On to another Vanessa poem. We read nonfiction.
Oh, yeah.
This one's interesting because she's using this poem to kind of explore things that are role play, in a good way. I mean, I think we talked very early on in this show about role play and how I don't do costumes. I'm a robot dinosaur. But in this one, she says, like, I call you daddy, even though neither of us liked ours. But daddy feels so good but you feel so good in my mouth, And so it's interesting how we use role play to kind of explore
Work
some
through
of,
our.
what'd you say?
Well, I was going to say explore, but also to work through our shit, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll bring that, maybe we'll delve, dig a little deeper into that because I have been reading articles about how people use BDSM to work through trauma. And I find that very interesting that they use some of the same things that were used against them to strengthen them.
Wow.
And so put a pin in that. We'll come back to that because I don't necessarily feel like I am the one qualified to lead that discussion, but I think it's a good discussion worth having.
Yeah, I love that.
But yeah, I mean, also what I like about the end of this poem is how when they're using a strap, you get into it. And so they're like, look, stay down there until you come. Like you coming in it, like you're using the strap to come, And then it's like wanting me to believe something slid down my throat. But that's okay because I never liked that part anyway.
It's a very honest poem.
Yeah, it's very honest, but it's also just really cool how they are aware that they're role playing, but feel so into it. So I was dating this one guy and he would let me peg him occasionally.
Wow.
And to him, damn, he was like, yeah. To him,
Now I was just thinking, I hadn't heard about this, and this is exciting, and it feels like some kind of a fucking unicorn. Like I'm assuming this is a black man that would actually let
it's a
you.
black man. I'll tell you who it is when we get off get
Okay.
off of this because
That's fucking dope.
your mind will be blown at exactly who it is.
Oh, because I got an idea who I think it is. Okay.
Your mind will be blown. So,
I love it.
but the cool thing well, no. I loved it because I did it, but he would always be like, "Oh, I'm only letting you do this because you like to. You like this power." And I'm like,
Okay,
nigga, don't nobody just spread their booty cheeks because somebody else like it. Like, you gotta.
And to be clear, it feels good.
It does.
So,
And
like, stop acting like this shit don't feel good. Like, you don't got a whole organ that's right there that really, really loves this feeling.
And that was my thing. Like, I was cool with it, but not. I mean, I was cool with it and I did it because it was like, okay, all right, let me do it. Wink. I like to do it. But it was just like, bruh, be real with yourself. Because once you're real with yourself about that, then, because we'd be like doing it and he'd be like, don't you want to strap me? And I'd be like,
yeah, nigga.
Yeah, okay. I mean, yes, I did. But like, it wasn't, but it was just
yeah,
like.
Yeah. He wanted to be like it was your idea, not his.
And
all the
like,
time.
and the thing
you
is,
could
like,
just say what you want, bro.
Niggas so dumb that they even, like, he swore he was like, put it in my head. And it's like, no, nigga. But, I mean, I like it, but you ain't, so anyway.
Yeah.
And the particular person that it was, they just made it seem like, oh, I care about you so much, I'm gonna let you do it.
Did that take any of the shine off of it? Like, did it make it less fun because they weren't really like standing grounded in the fact that this brought them pleasure?
Yes. Thinking about it now, yes, definitely, because it's like, just for me, I find that sex is fun when we're all in, when we're
Yeah.
not, you know, like when
When
we just,
everybody's enthusiastic.
exactly. And he was enthusiastic. He just wasn't. He was trying to be like, like, no, okay,
Yeah.
here.
I think it was being demure, but also like demure, but also it feels like I don't know. I'm searching for a word. Oh, like it's like it feels to me, and tell me if this is what it felt like to you. Almost like a like kind of like on a continuum of like a pity fuck. Like, sure, if this is what you want, I'll do this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want you to be ecstatic about what the fuck we're about to do. I don't want you to do it or make it seem like you're doing it just because it's something that I want you to do. I want you to do it because you're in, and this is what you want to do at every step of the way.
So, yes and no. Yes, I feel you on that, but it was clear to me once I got back there that he
Because
was
you ain't
enjoying
stupid.
it. And I think had I allowed the relationship to go further, we would have just been like, it would have been, I feel like I could have gotten that out of him. I ain't nobody's fucking counselor or therapist.
Yeah.
Like, I will be for the right person. I mean, you know, like I'm willing to explore those things with the right person, but
He wasn't worth the investment.
it wasn't worth the investment. Like,
Yeah.
all right, now I've opened you up a little bit. Maybe the right person you'll find, and y'all can do this for real, for real. So, yeah, it was definitely an interesting. It was definitely an interesting situation, and I actually enjoyed it and loved the power and the role play that came from it. Because even though I wasn't like coming from a dick, a plastic, I still came from a plastic, you know? So, yeah, that was
Did
a
it
good one.
teach you anything about yourself and what you like?
I think it taught me that I like a nigga that's gonna be honest about what he wants, you know? Because again, I don't want to feel like I'm having to like, you know how some niggas be like, I don't want it if it's that easy. Like the good Reverend Tupac.
Uh-huh.
I do want it if it's easy.
That's my shit.
Kenrya just hit a body roll. But the thing is, I do want it if it's that easy. I want us to all be clear about what the fuck we want and do it. So yeah, I want us to be like, do you want to do it? Fuck yeah, let's. Come on. I got the lube. Pull out my favorite one. You know, that kind of thing. So I think that's kind of what it taught me. And it also taught me, I mean, like, I've always believed not to judge a book by its cover, but like, again, some niggas surprise you.
That they do.
That they do. Okay, so on to the next one. We read Black Moon. I loved this one. I love this one because this is just like it's a manifesto. Like, I love the fact that they say our existence is revolutionary. Our lovemaking is an act of resistance. Okay, so I kind of want to talk about this, but I don't really understand the situation enough. So if I fuck this up, my bad. So there's this rapper, Tobin something. Oh, I feel horrible because I actually really like him. It's the guy that did Arrest the Cops That Killed Breonna Taylor, or you're not on the internet enough. Try Jesus Not Me, because I got these hands.
I watched that video. Oh, okay.
Okay, so that guy. It's him. I think it's his wife, and they got like a kid, and the kid just kind of be in the background, like. And then they have a producer. I'm probably I don't want to talk about it because somebody's listening like, no, because I only like catch them in passing on Instagram. I actually committed to following them today. Um, but that's what, and I know we just talked about how you can't judge a book by its cover, or you don't really know all of everything in a relationship. But that's what they feel like to me. They feel like this poem where they just black as fuck. They be in their like Easter colors in a monochrome room. Is it monochrome?
All one color.
In a monochrome room, just talking about being black and loving each other and kissing on fat babies. And it is just the best thing on earth. Like, I think he's kind of a gospel artist or a gospel rapper. Maybe not a gospel rapper, but he ain't one of them like fuck a bitch in the pussy till she come 10 times kind of gal. So I kind of feel bad saying this, but I'd love to see a sex tape, a consensual sex tape, because they are just like, he's just big and black and got gold teeth and it's just sexy. Am I being problematic?
No.
Okay, you're looking at me. Kara's giving me
I'm
this
just
look.
listening.
And she has this look that she gives me when I'm being problematic, and I wasn't sure if that was the look that you were giving
No,
me.
I'm literally just listening.
Okay, so yeah, I would love to see them making love together because in my mind, I mean, granted, Black Moon is about to be lesbian and fearless, but nonetheless, I still feel like to be black and fearless. Like, it's just the fact that we choose to love each other openly, out loud, and like proudly is a really big fucking deal, especially in a time where niggas trying to kill us.
All the
Also,
time. Yeah.
not to take away from the, not to take away from the actual article, from the actual poem, which is about lesbians loving each other out loud. Again, in this time where queer people are just getting fucking dogged, not only
Especially
by like
black queer people.
I was about to say black queer people are not only getting dogged by like straights, but by the same motherfuckers that they are help fight, advancing the fight for.
Yep.
This art, why I want to call it an article. This poem, like really, really, I fucking loved it. I loved it, loved it, loved it.
By the time I got to "We Belong to Ourselves and God," I was just
Yeah.
fully taken. Yeah.
Yes, it just feels good.
It's like-
It feels
It's like the the poetic equivalent of "fuck them other niggas." Like,
yes,
yeah.
which I
And
listened to this morning.
Yeah, we were dancing to it this weekend.
We were.
Oh, you were drunk.
We
You
all
were playing
were.
the music, bitch.
I was.
I was the only sober person. Yes, you were
Oh.
playing the music.
I'll have to go back and look at pictures.
Oh my god.
It was definitely a wild one. I will say that.
Yeah, we had a fun day. A
Yeah.
fun, safe
Yes.
day in the midst of all of this.
In the midst of all of
COVID
this.
shit.
Yeah. Which again, like we're in a place right now. I feel like we need Black Moon like cast, projected on the side of a building or something right now.
Yeah.
Because this is one of those like, this is the poetic fuck them other niggas. It's beautiful, it's strong, it's like, this is who I am, this is what the fuck we doing. So I can't get enough of it. I'm about to fuck up this woman's name, Akinfe Fatu.
Fatu.
I know I can say Fatu. I can't say the first Akinfe. I'm so sorry, hon. Good Midwestern tongue. Mark that on your bingo cards.
We need to really make bingo cards.
We are going to.
Okay.
Watch out for that in season 4.
The only other thing I really want to say about Black Moon that I love is, like, it starts and she says that she's studying her partner. And that her partner is showing her, like, and embodying what it means to be black, what it means to be lesbian, what it means to be proud, what it means to be free. And I love the idea of being partnered with someone who helps you to be more of yourself and that helps to bring you to that place. And so that's why, like, I love by the time like that she says, you know, it goes from her studying her partner to her saying that our lovemaking is an act of resistance, right? So now you're not two separate entities. It's about what you do together. It's about the fact that you belong to yourselves and to God, that you have now come together. She's shown you what this means. She's modeled this for you. And now you're there in that same space together. I love that.
So I believe that each relationship, good or bad, teaches you something.
Yeah.
Do you believe that?
I do believe that. I'm thinking about my shittiest relationships and the fact that I learned something. Don't mean that I want to do it again, but I did learn something.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah. And now that I am better at picking partners and relationships, I think I look forward to learning more about, like, okay, so I think I know everything there is to know about me, but like, what is there new to learn? You know, like, what will this uncover in a good, healthy way, as opposed to like, I don't want to have to hit rock bottom to learn X, Y, and Z anymore.
Yeah.
Just let me learn it from like a
Somebody
game,
told you.
or like we've,
An honest conversation.
exactly, like some good questions.
Yeah.
Okay, Untitled, Up in Harlem. This reminded me of, like, reading it reminded me of this relationship I had in college. Only because it says, I married you while making love to you on a bare mattress on a concrete floor.
Bitch, I almost spit out my tea.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't marry a nigga, but I definitely had a relationship in college where we slept on an air mattress. I would leave like a real dorm room to go sleep on a fucking air mattress.
Bitch, you was wildin'.
I mean, I was in college and in love, and I had a good back. Now I'd be like, I remember I remember the night my ex-husband and I bought our house, and I was just so hyped to, like, I was like, we bought this house, we're gonna spend the night in it. So I brought the air mattress that we had, and we slept in this empty ass house on an air mattress. And I remember I woke up at like 2 in the morning, and this nigga was gone. I said, where the fuck is he? I look outside, and this nigga is in the car with the AC on, knocked out. He was like, I tried waking you up. I knew you'd come out here soon. That shit don't work. Well, that shit don't work when you hit a certain age. But yeah, like, at the time, it was sexy, and not sexy, but it was just like, oh, humble beginnings.
Together.
We'll write these stories later in life when we're married and kids about how we used to. Oh, I used to go to your daddy's house and sleep on the mattress, on the air mattress on the floor, and nigga, no. Not at all. And I will tell all my babies, you deserve so much more.
You do.
You deserve
However,
so much more.
in this poem, the feeling that I got from it was like, yeah, it was probably not the ideal situation, but I was so into you and so wanting you in that moment that even on a fucking concrete floor,
Sweaty night.
I still found my way to you.
Yes. And it's beautiful. Like, it's beautiful. It's sexy. Like, I could feel this poem. But again, like, this poem, I'm holding it up. This poem is a romanticized version of what I, like, thought the struggle was in college, you know?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, not to, like, look badly on this poem. I don't want to make it seem like
it's a beautiful poem.
Yeah, it's a beautiful poem. I just think that young girls not all girls, but some girls get caught up in the struggle is gonna bind us together and this is gonna be beautiful and we'll look back on it. And no, honey. And even that particular guy was a sweetheart, and it was just circumstances, whatever.
Yeah.
But no, honey.
Have you ever made any proclamations while having sex? Said things for the first time while somebody was
Bitch.
in you?
I literally have it. I can't find it. I have a text message. This dude that I used to fuck. I think I showed it to you. It was like, you told me you love me. I was like, oh, I was dick drunk. My bad. Don't trust me. I'm one. If I was a nigga, I would have bought a. I probably done bought a million bitches cars. Cause, can I have a car? Yup, whatever you want.
Just keep sucking that
I
dick.
said that. My bad. Yeah, yeah. I try not to get too crazy, but I definitely get dick drunk, pussy drunk, gooch drunk. I don't. I learned about gooch, and now I keep talking about it. I don't even play with a gooch too often, but yeah. I have. What about you? You seem like you're just too level headed to do that.
Yeah, I've never said anything in a heated moment that I couldn't take back.
I'm trash.
No.
Also, I'm a Gemini, so I might have actually truly,
You
truly
probably
felt it right
yeah,
then.
in
It's
that
just,
moment.
mm,
Yeah, I'm always thinking about the consequences and the fallout of shit. So nah, son,
but
I
see,
ain't
that's the
never.
thing. When I'm in it and it's good, like I'm in it.
I'm usually
Erica, what's your
so
name? Well, I don't know. So
no. I've never. I've had people say things to me in the middle that they probably did not mean to say.
yeah, yeah,
But nah, mm-mm.
yeah. I definitely,
And so I try not to take those things too seriously.
yeah, like don't. I probably need to like have a disclaimer written on my back, like anything. If you were here, anything that's said at this point, just ignore it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get dick drunk and it is over for me.
Okay, so the next poem, which I think it's pronounced hiss and fan and fuck you, but he just told me I was probably wrong.
Y'all,
Um,
uh, y'all know I can't fucking pronounce shit. I don't know why she thinks that. Anyway, continue.
so this one was interesting to me because what I got from it is that it is these two people who are lovers, but also they hate each other's fucking guts. So
I
this
hate you so
idea,
much right now. I hate you
yeah,
so much right now.
like
Ah!
when they come together, it's like an explosion, right? Like it's like thunder. It says there's a conversion that's happening. They're shit shove and suck and stain the hardwood floor. Like so much of this felt violent in some ways, and that's not a bad thing if that's what you like. I speak from experience.
Yeah.
But it was this idea that as much as they hate each other is the same amount that they can't keep their hands off of each other. And the fact that when they do come together, it is an explosion and they just kind of can't help themselves. Have you ever found yourself fucking somebody who outside of fucking you really can't stand?
I think we talked about that. I don't think so. Maybe. What I say? Go back. Run that tape back. I can't remember if I did or not. Shit, that was last episode.
Was it?
No.
I don't think so.
Shit. Anyway.
But also, I'm bitch just old and we recorded
Yeah.
this a while ago.
Yeah, I don't think so. Only because I want you to, I want to like feel like you really like me. Like, I don't like that, he's mean to me, so he likes me shit.
Oh, yes, that's what we're talking about. Teaching, our kids that a nigga shouldn't be mean to you if he likes you. Yes.
Yeah. I don't think I do that, but maybe.
Have you ever found yourself going back to have sex with someone who you broke up with, who you don't like? Like, I hear that a lot where people break up, but they're still having sex, and I've never actually done that before. And that kind of feels along the same lines, I guess, depending on how y'all broke up.
No, I definitely think, did I? I don't think so, but you know these pussy mouths more than me, so maybe. I
No
definitely
one is
remember.
coming to
Yeah,
mind.
I definitely remember like breaking up with someone and then getting drunk and calling them, and then we got back together
Oh.
and was doing it. But none of the like, cause I don't need that toxic shit. Like if we broke up for a reason. That was the only time I doubled back to somebody, you know. But I do have people that I've had like very intense sex with. So it was never sweet fucking. It was never slow stroking. It was put the nigga in a headlock and riding him till he turned blue in the face. That kind of shit. So,
Was that emblematic of the rest of y'all's relationship? Or was it
no,
only
I
like
think
that
it
when you were
was
having
just
sex?
actually it was very much the opposite. It was very sweet and, like kind and doting and all of that. But then once we got to doing the do, it was just some like, is that a bruise type shit? Which to me was a turn on because it was like you were so. It was a turn on because
It's like in the movie when they say the name of the movie
yeah.
in the dialogue.
It was a turn on because it was so opposite of who he was as as a person and as a lover. Like even
It was unexpected.
yeah. And the first time it happened, I was like, oh shit, whoa. But yeah, it was very different, and I think that's what made it like even that much hotter because like he was one of them niggas that would have taken off his jacket and put it over a puddle if if I needed him to, that kind of shit.
I never understood that. I'm like, don't it just all get wet?
Don't you just step in it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it
But
made
anyway.
sense on the cartoons. Okay. Hole in nothing but. Um I think that this one of the biggest things that I got from this, and you brought this up, is that intimacy brings the truth, like between two people. And I say this all the time, like once you done had your booties and your face in somebody's booty, you kind of certain walls are broken down. I mean, it's not always the case, which I find a bit problematic anyway, because it's kind of like we doing something this close.
I think there's a lot of situations in which you can do something that close and then walk away.
You know what? I totally agree.
Yeah.
I am one that always says, hey, sex and intimacy are two different things. But in this text, it feels like their love making, their sex is just so icky and sticky and raw and passionate that anything that could be between them is now like those walls have come down and they are now just two becomes one, you know?
Yeah. And in
this
an
whole
extra black way.
huh?
And in a really extra black way.
I was just about to say, I got your
Okay.
cornrows, you got me by the breast.
Yeah.
Between our
and my
teeth.
lifelines deep in the kink and kitchen of your hair. Like that ain't nothing but two black women.
Two niggas loving on one another
Yeah.
and sexing on one another. It also feels like you don't know where to, was it, who sings that song and it's like I don't know where the end and begins, and India Ari.
Brown skin.
Yeah.
That's like one of my favorite lines in that song.
Yeah.
I can't tell where yours ends and I begin. Oof. Yes. Yeah.
Y'all got me
I
ready
feel
to
that
go.
way often when because my partner and I are about the same color. And I'd be like, yeah, that's true. I can't tell.
I got me ready to go pat this puss. Um, yeah, so this was just black as fuck and beautiful, and we just two just folks all stuck in with one another and in love. I loved
Yeah.
it.
And I love this repeating refrain of the I swear. Like, it feels like such a, well, first of all, I remember when we were a kid, we weren't really allowed to say I swear, but if you said it, like, you meant that shit.
Ooh, like
Like,
who
I
did a,
swear.
and my father died when I was younger, like when I was like 10. So like, put that on daddy grave. You put that on daddy grave, and
You meant that shit.
we mean business.
Right.
Like, but you put it on your granny. You know, that kind of shit.
Yeah. But that, like, that popping up, that I swear, the truth, chest to chest, I swear, it just felt so uniquely us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that's so true with this entire all the poems that all the poetries that we read in today's episode. Like, it's all so beautiful and so black, so just the words, the fabric of it just feels, I'm rubbing my fingers like I'm rubbing a slick do-rag.
The silkiest of the
The
silks.
silkiest of the silks. But yeah, this just feels like good and black in the sense
Yeah.
of like everything. Like, there are a million little bits that just wouldn't nobody else understand, but you understand it and feel it, and it just feels black. So these have been amazing poems. We had a lot more that we liked, but we had to settle on only a few.
Yeah, we had to pick a few. And thank you to all of the poets that we featured, because they all gave us permission and said, hey, yeah.
Yes. And thank you to
can
our good
do
homies at Sinister Wisdom, who
Yeah.
I think this is the second time we worked with them. And
Always a pleasure.
always a pleasure, always hooking us up with dope ass works. So y'all are the best. And that wraps up this part of this episode, and we will go on to ding ding. What's turning us on?
Okay.
Okay, so what's turning me on this week is Sliquid. It is a type of lube. It comes in a bunch of different, I don't want to say flavors because they don't taste, but varieties. They come in a bunch of different blends.
Yes.
But Sliquid is this really cool lube, and it's a silicone based lube, which means it don't your body doesn't absorb it, which means a little bit goes a long way.
Yeah.
And it stays. Only thing that I would not do is use that shit with your silicone toys, because it'll break it down.
You can make it sticky, yeah.
Yeah. But I love this fucking lube.
Yeah, you put me onto this one.
Hmm?
You put me onto that one too.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
two things. One, they also sell them in little bitty packets, which are great for your whole bag. So you don't have to like tote a whole bag, a whole jar of lube, a whole bottle of lube with you. You can just like kind of, ding, 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 ding. Second, a sex educator put me onto this. And I think I might have mentioned it. Buy those little pumps, those little screw pumps, and put them on the top of your lube.
Oh,
So you don't have to like,
it's way easier.
you literally just and go at it.
I'm so sad that y'all don't get to see all the hand movements.
Next season.
Yes.
But
So
yeah.
many hand movements.
So anyway, I love it. I think it's the best. We're gonna include a link to it in our in the show notes. But if you are looking for
and on the What's Turning Us On page on our website.
yes, but if you're looking for a good lube for everyday types of stuff, use this. Or you could use it with your silicone toys. You just got to put a condom over it. But yeah, use it. It's great. I love it. It's turning me on.
Love
And
it.
that's all I
And
got. This is
that's
an
what's
easy
up.
one.
Yeah.
This is an
Lube
easy.
sells itself.
Okay. So with that said, this was a great episode. You got anything else for us? Any announcements?
No.
Buy Kenrya's book.
Oh yeah. I got another book out. Thanks, boo. It's called Anti-Racism: Powerful Voices, Inspiring Ideas, and it's available everywhere. But I always recommend that you buy it at a black bookseller. Let's keep our money circulating in our community.
And we will include links in the show notes.
Yes, and it's on our bookshop page as
Yes,
well.
on our. I'm sorry, that's what I meant. We'll include on our bookshop page. So okay, with that, this is Erica, two hoes making it clap. You have. I
This
can't
is
do this on my
Kenrya,
own.
two hoes.
Wait, okay.
You said this is Erica.
No, I said this is
Yeah.
Erica and Kenrya.
Mm-mm.
Okay, my bad. Okay, with that said, this is Erica and Kenrya
Two hoes
making it clap.
making it clap. Whatever. One day, maybe.
This episode was produced by us, Erica and Kenrya, and edited by Ballistic. The theme music is from Brazy. Now you can support The Turn On and get off. Subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast app. Then drop us a 5-star review and you'll be entered to win something that's turning us on. Post your review and email a screenshot to us at theturnonpodcast@gmail.com to enter. Our Patreon page is also live. Become a supporter today and access lots of goodies, including 2-for-1 raffle entries. Don't forget to send us your book recommendations and sex and related questions. And follow us on Twitter at The Turn On Pod and Instagram at The Turn On Podcast. You can find links to books, merch, transcripts, guest info, and other fun stuff at theturnonpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon. Holla!